Hello everybody, my name is Jackson Fulcher and welcome to my best films of 2015 top 10. It's been one heck of a year. Some good films, some bad films, some films, but now we're here to talk about, in my personal opinion, what were the top 10 best films of 2015. But before we begin, I do have a couple honorable mentions on this sheet of paper that I'm not going to let you look at. Anyways, my first honorable mention is for Kingsman: The Secret Service. This film was pretty much the first great film of 2015, and it really did kick it off. I loved Kingsman, had a huge blast. The church scene. That's all I gotta say. The church scene, easily one of the best scenes of the year. The Peanuts movie, a film that really did capture what Peanuts was all about. They did a very good job recapturing the formula of Peanuts. Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. The series may have had a downward spiral with Mission Impossible 2, but then it picked it right back up with 3, did even better with 4, and Rogue Nation, in my opinion, is another home run for Mission Impossible. I had a huge blast with this movie. The fact that Tom Cruise is still okay enough to hang outside of airplanes for us that's insane. Bridge of Spies, a really fantastic Steven Spielberg movie. Of course, you gotta love Spielberg. He's one of the best directors ever, and Tom Hanks, Mark Rylance in this movie, super good, one of the best. Black Mass, I think this is a pretty underrated movie because not that many people really are recognizing it. I thought it was a terrific film. Johnny Depp, easily one of his best performances in the past couple years. Johnny, do more films like this. I have two films that I wasn't able to review. The Voices. This film was actually really surprising to me. I actually loved this film more than I thought it would. I loved Ryan Reynolds in this movie. He was so creepy, but at the same time you felt bad for him and you liked him. It was weird. Oh yeah, and Anna Kendrick was in it. That is a good thing also. Anyways, moving on from that, my last honorable mention is The Last 5 Years, starring Anna Kendrick. Let's make this really quick. I actually adore this film. This movie doesn't have like the highest rating on Rotten Tomatoes or anything. I don't really understand why, because I think it's a really terrific film. Jeremy Jordan and Anna Kendrick have great chemistry with each other. Thought they were very good. The singing is incredible. I like the way the story was told, and Anna Kendrick is really hot. And I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed at all. Anyways, let's get started with number 10. Now this film, I have mentioned, it is very good, very well crafted, but I'm never going to watch it again. And that would be Sicario. Sicario is dark, kind of brutal, and is led with some very good performances, especially Benicio del Toro. He was terrific in a supporting role. I really liked him. I hope he gets nominated for something because he was actually riveting. Emily Blunt was also very good. Josh Brolin was also very good. The acting was good in this movie, and the directing by Denis Villeneuve, I think that's how you pronounce his name, he was very good. Roger Deakins, the cinematographer, he was great. The nighttime actually looked very good. Love the cinematography. The movie was just very well crafted. The reason why I'm not going to watch this movie again, though, is because it's so dark. There's not really any hope, so it's definitely not a movie that I'm going to pop in ever again to have fun with it, because it's not really a fun movie. It has some action scenes, but that doesn't make it fun. So, I love you, Sicario. That's why you're on my list, but you're hard to watch. Moving right along, my number 9 is a film that I wasn't really excited for when I first saw the trailers, but after leaving I was completely floored, and that would be The Gift. I feel like I'm one of the rare people that actually has this movie on their top 10 list. I'm sorry, I love this film. I love what Joel Edgerton did. This is his directorial debut, I believe, and he did a fantastic job. I love The Gift. I was in suspense the whole time. Jason Bateman, I love him as an actor. He's really cool, and Joel Edgerton really surprised me in his role as Gordo. He was very good. He was creepy, actually. He wasn't hilariously bad in his role. He was actually creepy, and I loved him. He was so good. And of course, it has one of the best endings of the entire year. I'm not going to spoil it, obviously, but holy crap, the ending to this film is amazing. And number 8 is a movie I went into not knowing a whole lot because I kind of stayed away from the trailers, but after leaving I was completely blown away, and that would be Spotlight. Now this film is actually thought-provoking, and it's well acted, but it's not an Oscar bait movie. Some people will categorize it as one of those Oscar films, you know what I mean, where it's a low-budget film, it came out in limited release, it has some big stars, and a couple scenes in the movie are basically them giving epic monologues of depression and stuff. Spotlight is not an Oscar bait movie. There's really only one freak-out moment from Mark Ruffalo, which was terrific. But besides that, there really isn't any other Oscar clip moments where if the actor is nominated, they play that scene, and, you know, that's an Oscar clip. There wasn't really much of that at all in Spotlight. It's an actually well-made film that actually is thought-provoking, not Oscar bait. It will be nominated for Oscars, but it's not Oscar bait. It clearly wasn't its intention to get nominated. They just really wanted to get this story made into a film, and I love Spotlight. My number 7, this is a film that's going to top some best of 2015 lists. This is a movie that will at least get in the top 5 in a lot of people's lists. So when you see this kind of low on my list, please don't kill me. It's Mad Max Fury Road. I love Mad Max Fury Road. It's an action masterpiece. There are so many great things in this film. So many how did they shoot this type scenes in this film. It is really an action masterpiece. And the fact that George Miller, he's in his 70s, directed this film, an action masterpiece. That is incredible. The only flaw that's really holding me back from saying this is one of the best films of the year is that there is a romance that is included that wasn't really necessary, that it wasn't really needed. It just kind of felt forced. Other than that, Mad Max Fury Road is the best, and Charlize Theron as Furiosa. This is Furiosa's movie. Forget Mad Max. This is Furiosa, Fury Road. Seriously, Charlize Theron did a very good job, and Tom Hardy, he does rely on the Tom Hardy mumble at a couple times, but he's really good in this role. I think he did. It's kind of hard to say that he did better than Gibson or anything like that, but, you know, he was still good. Anyways, my number 6 is a film that I recently just watched. I wanted to see this film in theaters, but when I waited too long, they pulled it out because it was kind of bombing at the box office. So that was a little heartbreaking, but I recently watched it just to make this list, and I was floored. Steve Jobs. This film is incredible. I really like the way that they told Steve Jobs' story, basically centering the story around 3 press events that are going on for Apple. I really like that, the way they kind of showed off the story by doing that. They really did a lot by doing that. I was very surprised. I love this film. Michael Fassbender played Steve Jobs very well. He has great monologues, great acting moments, but he's a douchebag, so you don't want to be friends with him. So you don't want to like him because of some of the stuff he says, but Michael Fassbender is so good in the role that you want to like him, but you still don't like him because he's treating Steve Wozniak bad at the same time. Oh yeah, and speaking of Steve Wozniak, Seth Rogen. Terrific job. And Jeff Daniels, he did this and The Martian. I'll mention that in a bit. He was super good in this film. And Steve Jobs is just a talking movie. A lot of discussions, lots of monologues, but I was completely riveted. My eyes were glued to the screen the whole time. I absolutely loved Steve Jobs. In my opinion, it's a masterpiece. Alright, the top 5 best of the year. This is it, guys. Here we go. My number 5 is a film that I had to watch before the end of the year because I couldn't wait until January. Because if I didn't include this on the list, then I knew I'd be heartbroken. And thank God I didn't wait. The Revenant. I loved this film. Alejandro Gianaratu, he did it again. He did it again. Last year he did Birdman, and now he's done The Revenant. I think he's done it again. I think Birdman is a little better, but who cares? Birdman and Revenant are completely different. Leonardo DiCaprio deserves his Oscar, like now. Like, Academy, seriously, nominate Leo and then have him win. He truly does deserve it, and Tom Hardy was really good in this film. Will Poulter surprised the heck out of me. I liked him in We're the Millers, and I liked him in Maze Runner, but I absolutely loved him in this film. And it honestly is one of the most gorgeous looking movies of the year, maybe of all time. The cinematography was super fantastic. It's one of the main reasons why I kept my focus to the screen, because the cinematography was so gorgeous. Every shot looked very good that I couldn't look away. It was too beautiful to not look at. My number 4 is the 8th film from this certain director, and by saying that you probably already know what it is, so I'll just say it. The Hateful Eight, Quentin Tarantino's 8th film that I absolutely love. Now, I've only seen Pulp Fiction and Django Unchained from his filmography, and I really love those 2 films, but now I've seen a 3rd film from his, The Hateful Eight, and I absolutely love this. It's got everything you'd love from a Quentin Tarantino film. Language, the N-word because Samuel L. Jackson's there, Samuel L. Jackson giving epic monologues, every actor on their A-game, and of course, lots and lots of blood. There's definitely lots of that in this film. This was so funny too, it had some really good sparks of humor, even some humor that you probably shouldn't be laughing at, but you are, if that makes any sense. And Quentin Tarantino has said that he's only gonna make 10 films, and now that he's at his 8, so apparently he only has 2 more films left. I really hope that's not the case. I really would like to see Quentin Tarantino make, like, more films. He's super good. He's a great director. Number 3 is a film that I was a little skeptical going in. I love the trailers, but I was still skeptical because the director hadn't really done anything that great as of late, but I walked away from this film amazed, and that would be The Martian. This movie was stupendous. I love The Martian. Ridley Scott finally shows us that he's still got directing chops, and Drew Goddard is the writer. He was super good. I love the script for The Martian, and Matt Damon, so fantastic in this film. Even though he's on Mars, it's not like he's crying every single moment. He does have a couple scenes where he breaks down, but he still has charisma, he still has optimism like he's gonna get off Mars. He immediately gets to work when he realizes that he's left there. His reaction, especially when he finds out that he's stuck on Mars, it isn't like, oh god, oh god, oh god. It's pretty much just like, crap. Even when they go to NASA, away from Mars, they go to NASA where a lot of talking is going on, I was still invested because of the dialogue and the acting. Kristen Wiig surprised me a lot, and Jeff Daniels, I told you I was going to mention him again, he was also terrific in this film, and Sean Bean, also terrific. Everyone was terrific, basically. Alright, my number 2. A lot of people may say, that was a great movie, but this high up, in my opinion, this is not only a masterpiece, but it's a masterpiece of animation. That would be Inside Out. Inside Out was phenomenal. Not only is it one of Pixar's best films in a long time, it is so entertaining and so funny, but at the same time teaches kids a great message about pretty much life itself, puberty and all that, and it's a movie that adults can enjoy too. This, in my opinion, is what kids' films, animated films, should be. Not Alvin and the Chipmunks, where you get a bunch of poop jokes and farts and whatever. Or Minions, where it's basically, look at us, toys, Minions, yay, yay. Inside Out is what animated kids' films should be. Funny films that adults and kids can enjoy that also teaches kids some valuable lessons. This, Inside Out, this is what kids' films should be. Thank you, Pete Docter, for showing us this. So hopefully no more Minions and Alvin and the Chipmunks movies. Just kidding, they're still gonna make some more of those, so at least we got Inside Out. Alright, this is probably really predictable. My number 1 film of 2015 is a film that I was hyping for a long time. A film that I was hyping so much that I eventually got a little scared that, what if this actually isn't good? What if I'm hyping myself and then gonna be extremely disappointed? I walked away from this film with exceeded expectations. Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Yes! This is everything a Star Wars film should be. J.J. Abrams did something George Lucas couldn't do with the prequels. Captured the magic of the original trilogy. That is something the creator of Star Wars couldn't do with the prequels. J.J. Abrams is an extreme talent. I love the man. I've loved him for his other films, Super 8, Mission Impossible 3, Star Trek, and Star Trek Into Darkness, and now he has gifted us with Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Thank you, J.J. Abrams. And thank you, J.J., for discovering the great talent of Daisy Ridley. This is like her first film. And she was phenomenal. She was great. John Boyega had so much energy. Oscar Isaac was so entertaining. Everything about this movie was great. They added a new complex villain of Kylo Ren. Just everything about this film brought me back to the original trilogy while also giving us a brand new story. That is amazing that J.J. Abrams and Lawrence Kasdan and Michael Arndt, the writers, were able to pull off this amazing script that brought us back to the Star Wars world, but giving us something new at the same time. I love Star Wars and Disney. I'm sorry for being skeptical at first when you bought the rights. Thank you. Thank you. In all honesty, thank you. Anyways, guys, that was my top 10 best of the year list. What is your top 10 best? Leave it in the comments below, and later I'm going to have my top 10 worst of the year up, just for your enjoyment. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.